Alright, I'm having to pull this apart for someone because I was gonna recap this chassis that goes in this cabinet, and this is the last one we have of these Candy 26s, and so I figure, you know, I might as well make a video about it while I'm here before I leave and go do stuff, because I'm always very busy now. So anyways, this is a SNK Candy 26. Let me just lower this back. And it's got the ashtray holder, you know, if you're a big time player, you know, you got your ashtray in here while you're playing. So yeah, anyways, this is a very rare variant of the Candy 26. This is a metal redemption model, so it's got this giant door on the front, and you know, a tray for your payouts and stuff. It is original SNK. This one's got a serial number of 15,056, and yeah, I just figured I'd do a little video on it. These things are heavy as all get out. It's all metal. The whole thing's metal. You got dual speakers. All of them came with the original marquee holder. They all have a little broken piece. The others were worse. This one actually has it intact, which is nice. Because there's a key, there's a tang that goes in, like a locking cam that goes with a lock here. So you could like unlock the marquee holder and like easily pull it and swap the art and put it back. It's got like a nice beveled edge to it. It does need to be cleaned up, as old as the hills, and there's like chromed pieces of metal that hold it together that are a little rusted from age. But this is, some seller in Japan had a small handful of these, and we decided to pick them up, and this was the last one I had. And if you look, this is a factory spec option to have the payment dispenser. If you look, the door has two slots, so you have one for your coin return, and then your other slot is this is where the metal redemption unit would sit, up here, and then you would put your game board down here where you have your JAMA edge. And yeah, like I said, I pulled the chassis. The chassis sits here normally. You know, you can rotate it without moving the chassis or anything like that, just so long as you know that your neck isn't getting bound up or something weird, which is not likely if you keep your cables managed. But if you look, interestingly, like if you look, you'll see where the factory left the original, turn the camera on. If you look, you'll see where the factory left the original mounting board for the power supply, which is probably this board right here. This has got to be the original mounting board for this, and you can see the keying on it would slot in right here. But you know, SNK added this shelf, if you will, to the cabinet, and they changed. I mean, this is factory. It's not like it's not factory at all. This is 100% factory. They widened the main entry door so that you could have I don't know, I guess so you'd have easier access to reload the hopper for the metal payouts and stuff. So like a metal payout would be from like a game, maybe like a mahjong game, or like some kind of, like, you know, strip poker game or something like that. Some kind of a game where you know, they like we give tickets out. It's instead of tickets, you get medals, and then you take those and you exchange them for things. And yeah. So overall, it's not too bad. There's some rust in like some spots. This one doesn't really have a lot. Another one we had a bit of rust, surface rust buildup going down here on the main body, but this one doesn't really have much other than, like, you know, this has got a little bit of surface rust there. It's not anything terrible. It needs a paint job, but they're all old. Surprisingly, there's no fan. It's spec'd for a fan, but none of the ones we bought had fans, so you could add a fan. That's not a big deal. But yeah, the chassis on this is a Nanau MS8 26-inch FAR picture chassis. You got your yoke connections and stuff, and your chassis would use a standard AC outlet. A lot of the older metal cabs did this with the older chassis, so they just plug in here. Sega was the odd one. They usually put custom connectors and stuff on. The original panel overlays for these were, I don't know the full history. They were like really poor or something in condition, and they had to remake something. So they shipped with custom fabricated arrow-sized panels with brand new Famitsu buttons and switches. Actually, these are probably Sanwa. Yeah, these are Sanwa buttons, and then this is a Famitsu stick. And they are wired from the factory with two-player. It's two-player 4-button. So, unfortunately, we only had enough control panel harnesses for, one player. So we have one player. And then this is factory to all the Candy 26s. You had two coin slots and two coin acceptors. And, yeah. Thankfully, also, all of the units we got had the original weirdo locking tang system. So that if we had the keys, this would swing out vertically to its side and latch in here on these hooks. That unfortunately don't have the keys, but I mean, you can get new locking cores, cam locks for that. It's not too big of a deal. But yeah, anyways, the rotation mecha, he wants me to rotate it, so I'm gonna go ahead and rotate it. I'll do the bezel off camera because these bezels are really fragile. The plastic is a little brittle with age, so you have to. There's a trick to it. I've done it a couple of times, but you just got to be really careful. But they were thoughtful about how this works. There's captive thumb screws, like little wing screws, at 4 corners, and it's attached to the body of the front hood. And this plate here is what's being screwed down, and it holds this plastic bezel to the body of the cabinet. So anyways, oh, and yeah, it's got a kickstand too, which is nice. But yeah, so I've already taken the 4 screws out. There's 4 Phillips screws, Phillips number 3 sized screws at each 4 corners, and it just rotates. Let me get my bearings here because I think it gets a little. It's heavy. This thing's really heavy. There we go. So it rotates. And, so you would rotate your tube, and when it lands at these spots here, you just kind of give it a little it'd be better to do this one-handed, or two-handed, but see, it's binding on this one. You're really supposed to do this with two hands, but once I get it over this lip, it'll go. Really easy rolling when you are just barely supporting the tube. It rolls on these 4 plastic, I don't know, they're probably nylon or Teflon or something, rollers, and that's where those go. And the chassis attaches here, so your monitor controls are all right here. When it is installed, I'm just recapping it for the guy it runs, but I'm just recapping it because he wants to have it recapped. And let's see. Yeah, there's your coin return chute there, and your cash box chute there, and it's the same on the other side. You got a coin return here, but see, since they enlarged the front door, see, what I was told is what happens is it's like, okay, well, you can insert tokens or medals on one side, which would probably be this side, and then you can insert your 100 yen coins or whatever on this side. So you have your own dedicated coin return chute here. But since they had to put a bigger door on the front, the coin return chute actually goes into the front door. There's a channel, like I was showing earlier, built into the front door that does double duty. So the coin return comes here and drops out, and then your medals, if you want anything, they come down and out through that center portion. So it's pretty cool. This power supply is very old too. I'm gonna ask him if he wants me to inspect and recap this or something, because I would probably change it within the next year or less if you're going to be using it every day. But I mean, it does run. It's made by Sumitsu, this power supply. I can even, maybe I can get it down in here and show. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. It's made by Sumitsu, and they did touch up the paint on a couple of spots. This wasn't anything that our distributor did. It was who we bought these cabinets from, and they were just so weird and unique. I just had to buy as many as I could buy, and then they've just been slowly trickling throughout the year, and this is the last one. But it is a very rare, well, yeah, I would say it's very, very rare, super uncommon factory configuration of this cabinet. So anyways, just thought I'd kind of share this thing. Alberto has been making replacement panels for people for these cabinets, and I think he's been doing the sub panels too. They built a sub panel, I guess. I don't know the full story on it. It's just who we bought it from. But this sub-assembly panel thing is not original. This is different. But I think Alberto or Battle Smurf was working with some people that bought from me. I know specifically one person was doing the sub panel. Everybody else doesn't really care too much that this is different, as long as the look and feel is, it's not bad. It's not bad. And this is the only one I bought that had the ashtray holder, so that's kind of cool. It needs to be scrubbed up with like some steel wool or something. It's a little rough. It may need to be polished and re-chromed. Steel wool may not cut it for the whole thing, but at least it's there. It's just like one of those things that they stopped doing, the swing out ashtray holder. They just kind of stopped doing that after the fiberglass era of cabinets in the mid 90s and early 90s started coming out. They stopped doing stuff like that. And they went away from all metal cabinets mostly too. They started using composites and plastics. Like Sega used like a fiberglass plastic composite body for these. They're quite strong. And then eventually they moved on to plastic. But then like the arrows and stuff were all metal, so it's just different eras of stuff. Of course they had wood cabinets like we did, like way back, so they stopped doing that, went with metal. Anyways, I figured I'd just kind of share this and document it, because I'll probably never ever find any more Candy 26s, at least that I can think of, that are this variant of cabinet. Oh, before, I wish I could show this. There's a set of toggle switches on this panel. So the power switch for the cabinet is here, and your fuse is here, and there's like a service or credit button here. But lower down, there's some drilled out holes with toggle switches, and those toggle switches were probably used for setting payouts and things, like how many metals are going to be paid out when a win happens or something like that. It's just there's some unknowns about this, because none of the ones we got had the original dispenser hardware included. It was removed very, very, very long ago. The operators that had this, the owner that had this, didn't have them either. It was running JAMA. And then at one point these were running Mahjong, and probably some other stuff that I can't really fully imagine what it would be, other than what this cabinet was made for, which is, you know, kind of like a, you know, strip Mahjong or whatever, that's going to be paying out medals, kids games, adult games, poker games, slots, video slots, whatever it was that was originally running on this cabinet. But I think a lot of them were running Mahjong, at least in my discussion. These panels had Mahjong panels attached to them. But the tubes are really strong on them. There's not too much burn on them. A couple of them had 0 burn, so that was nice. And yeah, this one is one of, out of 6, this was one of 2 that still had its original decal. And that would have stretched down. Let me pop this open. That would have extended down the side here like this. So whoever's getting this or whatever, you know, you could probably get this really easily reproduced and then make a decal that goes there. Oh shit. Well, anyways, yeah, the glass on this is original too, so just for the sake of documenting, this is what the artwork for the glass would look like. And it wraps around the whole front. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Was kind of wanting to keep one of these, but one of my really good friends has one, and I can't hoard everything I import. So, anyways, figured I'd share this, and I'm gonna get back to work.